I understand there may be a temptation among some to think that discrimination is no longer a problem in 2009. And I believe that overall, there probably is never been less discrimination in America than there is today. I think we can say that. But make no mistake, the pain of discrimination is still felt in America by African American women paid less for doing the same work as colleagues of a different color and a different gender, by Latinos made to feel unwelcome in their own country, by Muslim Americans viewed with suspicion simply because they kneel down to pray to their God, by our gay brothers and sisters still taunted, still attacked, still denied their rights. On the 45th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act, discrimination cannot stand. Not on account of color or gender, how you worship, or who you love. Prejudice has no place in the United States of America. That's what the NAACP stands for. That's what the NAACP will continue to fight for as long as it takes. But we also know that prejudice and discrimination, at least the most blatant types of prejudice and discrimination, are not even the steepest barriers to opportunity today. The most difficult barriers include structural inequalities that our nation's legacy of discrimination has left behind. Inequalities still plaguing too many communities and too often the object of national neglect. These are barriers we are beginning to tear down, one by one, by rewarding work with an expanded tax credit, by making housing more affordable, by giving ex-offenders a second chance. These are barriers we're targeting through our White House Office on Urban Affairs, through programs like Promise Neighborhoods that built on Jeffrey Canada's success with the Harlem Children's Zone, that foster a comprehensive approach to ending poverty by putting all children on a pathway to college and giving them the schooling and after-school support that they need to get there. Now, I think all of us understand that our task of reducing these structural inequalities has been made more difficult by the state and structure of our broader economy. An economy that for the last decade has been fueled by a cycle of boom and bust. An economy where the rich got really, really rich, but ordinary folks didn't see their incomes or their wages go up. An economy built on credit cards and shady mortgage loans. An economy built not on a rock, but on sand. That's why my administration is working so hard not only to create and save jobs in the short term, not only to extend unemployment insurance and help for people who've lost their health care in this crisis, not just to stem the immediate economic wreckage, but to lay a new foundation for growth and prosperity that will put opportunity within the reach of not just African Americans, but all Americans. All Americans, of every race, of every creed, from every region of the country. We want everybody to participate in the American dream. That's what the NAACP is all about. Now, one pillar of this new foundation is health insurance for everybody. Health insurance reform that cuts costs and makes quality health coverage affordable for all and closes health care disparities in the process. Another pillar is energy reform that makes clean energy profitable, freeing America from the grip of foreign oil, putting young people to work, upgrading low-income homes, weatherizing them, creating jobs that can't be outsourced. Another pillar is financial reform, with consumer protections that crack down on mortgage fraud and stop predatory lenders from targeting Black and Latino communities all across the country. All these things will make America stronger and more competitive. They will drive innovation, they will create jobs, they will provide families with more security. And yet, even if we do all that, the African American community will still fall behind in the United States, and the United States will fall behind in the world unless we do a far better job than we have been doing of educating our sons and daughters. I hope you don't mind. I want to go in a little detail here about education. In the 21st century, when so many jobs will require a bachelor's degree or more, when countries that out-educate us today will outcompete us tomorrow, a world-class education is a prerequisite for success. There's no two ways about it. There's no way to avoid it. You know what I'm talking about. There's a reason the story of the civil rights movement was written in our schools. There's a reason Thurgood Marshall took up the cause of Linda Brown. There's a reason why the Little Rock Nine defied a governor and a mob. It's because there is no stronger weapon against inequality and no better path to opportunity than an education that can unlock a child's God-given potential. And yet, more than half a century after Brown versus Board, the dream of a world-class education is still being deferred all across the country. African American students are lagging behind white classmates in reading and math, an achievement gap that is growing in states that once led the way in the civil rights movement. Over half of all African American students are dropping out of school in some places. There are overcrowded classrooms and crumbling schools and corridors of shame in America, filled with poor children, not just black children, brown and white children as well. The state of our schools is not an African American problem, it is an American problem. Because if black and brown children cannot compete, then America cannot compete. And let me say this, if Al Sharpton, Mike Bloomberg, and Newt Gingrich can agree that we need to solve the education problem, then that's something all of America can agree we can solve. Those guys came into my office. They're sitting in the Oval Office. I kept on doing a double take. But that's a sign of progress, and it is a sign of the urgency of the education problem.